images.
This browser doesn't support it.
What? Doesn't support what?
This browser doesn't, because I'm on. I'm on.
What are you on? You should be on Google Chrome.
What? Nope. Be right back.
What?
He wasn't using Google Chrome the entire
time. He was in
time.
Google Meet without using Google Chrome. Good old Anthony. What could he have been using?
Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, or whatever the fuck.
Oh my god! If he was using Internet Explorer,
it doesn't even exist anymore.
Does it?
No, it's Microsoft Edge now. They got rid of Internet Explorer.
He was using Netscape.
That's a throwback.
Hell yeah. Good Lord. We do look good with this background, though. I'll tell you what, it does look pretty dope.
It does. With the football, with like a footballish looking thing, like, you know.
Hell yeah. Worked out good.
So you got the rights, I guess, to use a lamp spoon, or I can't pronounce it.
Week 15, semifinal week on the Always Sunday Football Podcast. I'm Dave. I'm joined, as I am every week, by Anthony up there. How you doing, Anthony?
I'm good. How are you?
Spectacular. I got a really fancy brand new background, as do we all. John, how you feeling?
Snazzy.
You're looking snazzy. Welcome to the show. You were feeling extra snazzy coming into the week, thinking that you went 3-0 in your picks. However, as we look back at our results, John, you went 2-1. You were correct with the Texans taking those points. They kept it closer than 14. The Miami Dolphins plus 7.5, they covered. Minnesota Vikings, though, did not cover the 4. They won by 3. They came back from the greatest deficit in NFL history to win, but only by 3.
You saw that Kirk Cousins video at the end of the game? Got a reporter comes up to Kirk Cousins, is like, how do you feel about, making, this is the historical, like, you just broke the record. Nobody's ever come back. He's like, so we made history? He's like, what? Let me let that sit for a second. Let me register that. That was pretty funny.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was.
That which is cool. I'd rather that be the case. I don't want Kirk Cousins being on the sideline being like, so okay, if we come back from this, it's he doesn't need to be thinking about that. Like the players don't need to be thinking about that on the sideline. I would be like, why do you know that? If he came off the field being like, we did it, like I
was planning on this the whole time.
Right, like when I saw 33-0, I was like, wow, we're gonna set a record. Like, I went 1-2. Did not have a great week. I had the Browns. They won the game. I did have that plus money -3 thing paid off, which is fine. But I was wrong on the Eagles. They didn't cover. Jalen Hurts started out having a horrible game, ended up having a pretty bad injury, it seems. And the Arizona Cardinals on the money line, they lost the game. They look bad, and they're going to look even worse now because they have their third-string quarterback going in. Anthony, how did you do last week on your picks?
For the Moneyline Madness, which we all know isn't the easiest thing to do, 2 for 3, and a very, very, very close where it was a little wild of a pick, but they made the game close. Was Atlanta? That was the one I got wrong.
Okay.
They lost by 3. But I got your mother's ass.
Wow.
It might be your penmanship that you cannot read.
Wow. It's like that's another true fact right there, and I can't even I partook in an activity right before this.
Yeah, nobody's gotten burned for their penmanship since elementary school, fam.
Dude, I get burned for like whatever that's possible.
They say handwriting is one thing, but penmanship, disrespect.
Dude, it's not even Arizona Bucks and Chargers was last week.
How's your cursive?
Dude, does anybody even use that anymore? Like, that's not a real thing.
Slanty right.
Dude, what did you have? Come back to me. What did you have, Dave?
We just went through them, bro. We went through them. You're on the spot.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Money line Giants.
It's
money line and Jacksonville and Falcons. And the Falcons
Giants?
lost by 3.
The Giants
Giants
won.
Falcons lost.
Giants won.
Okay.
Yeah, the Giants beat. Yep.
Okay. 2 for 3. 2 for 3. We got there. We made it, guys.
Dude, it was the background. It was just throwing me off.
Anthony, get it together. As we begin to get it together, we have a bunch of pretty significant injuries that are going to be extremely, extremely important in fantasy, which sucks in the semifinals, but also important in these games. Thursday night doesn't have too much in the way of injuries, except, unfortunately, Mike White will not be able to play, and Zach Wilson will get another start. New York Jets at home, 1.5-point favorites, hosting the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Johnny, Jets Johnny. The Jets are at home and favored in this one with Zach Wilson at quarterback. I think I know what you're going to say here. Say it.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take the over on this game. Actually,
37.5 over
yep,
under, by
I'm
the
going
way.
to take. Yep, I'm going to take the over on this game. I think that both teams are going to score. And what I mean by that is Jacksonville is going to have a tough time against this Jets defense. I think this Jets defense is actually for real. But I also think Jacksonville is also going to find ways to score. Also, Zach Wilson looked a little bit better than the last time we saw him. So my thinking is maybe he plays a little bit better next game, relies on the run game. I'm going to go with the over in this game and give me the points with the Jets.
Anthony?
Trevor Lawrence is banged up. Is it officially? He's not officially out yet.
No, he's going to play.
questionable.
He's going to play.
So Trevor Lawrence plays Jacksonville money line. I say Zach Wilson. Yes, he did look better last week than he has any game this year, almost. And that might be a reach, but best game you've seen him in a while. And I just think that was his ceiling. Like he's not going to have a better game than that this week. And Jacksonville's just on a ride. And as much as that Jets D is for real, Jacksonville money line 37.5. I'll take the over too.
Yeah, I will also see the over there with you guys. John, I thought you were going to at least take Jacksonville plus 1.5, but money line maybe. Anthony, I'm not surprised by the money line. I will join you on Jacksonville money line. They should
get on Jacksonville. This train.
Jacksonville should be favored in this game, or at least to pick them. With Zach Wilson, Zach Wilson stinks. He's bad. He's a bad football player. He's a good athlete, nice guy.
Nice guy.
Bad football player. He's not good at playing quarterback. Now, there's a bunch of Saturday games because it's Christmas Eve, and then a handful of Christmas Day, Sunday games. New York Giants, 1 o'clock, visiting the Minnesota Vikings, 4.5-point visiting underdogs with a 48-point over-under. Anthony, how you feel about the Giants?
Not enough to take a money line here. No, I'm questioning that the spread. Like they're going to lose this game, no doubt about it. They cannot score enough they can't outscore the Vikings. I don't think they can stop them enough to then outscore them. Their defense last year, like Thibodeau came out to play, and I don't see it going against these Vikings. They have weapons. They're going to come down the field. And I think they'll cover that. So I'm going to take the Vikings laying that 4.5, and I'll take the under in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Anthony. I'm going to take the points with Minnesota. However, I'm going to go with the over on this game. I do think that both defenses are okay. Minnesota just did not look good last week. Obviously completed the best comeback, but that is the reason why I'm going to go with the over on this game. I think Minnesota scores early and quickly, and the Giants are going to play some catch up. And I think that this can be a high-scoring game and one of the surprisers. And I'm going to go with the points with Minnesota and the over.
I guess I will take the under and I'll take the Vikings and lay the points. I feel like the Giants could just come out and lay a total dud and not score much at all. And the Vikings may not have to pour it on and potentially may not be able to pour it on per se, but yeah, under and Vikings laying the points. I don't know. We'll see. But I think the Giants are just trending in the wrong direction. I'll say that right there.
No, yeah, like they're gonna have some good plays. They're not the Vikings aren't gonna run over them, but they're gonna score on them, and the defense can only do so much.
Bills visiting Chicago as 8.5-point favorites, 40-point over under.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points with Chicago in this game. I do think that they,
The weather thing, maybe?
yeah, well, weather's always a factor in the Midwest, but there's no crazy weather like it is in Buffalo.
It's not going to be crazy precipitation. It's supposed to be exceptionally cold in a lot of places this week. Just exceptionally, like, so cold that it actually matters cold. Like negative degrees cold, apparently, in a lot of locations.
So, with that being said, I'm going to take the points with Chicago. I think that this game is going to come down to running the football, and I think Chicago just has a better running attack than Buffalo does. So, also Buffalo has lost Von Miller, so the Buffalo defense, I think, is not as good as they can be with the Von Miller. So I'm going to go with the points with Chicago. Buffalo definitely pulls this game out. And I'm going to go with the under. I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored with both games because this is going to be just a ground and pound. It's going to be too cold to throw the football ish kind of day. So I'm going to go points with Chicago, and I'm going to go with the under.
I'll take the Chicago getting the 8.5. I think the Bills could also go over that, but I think just Fields is he's too elusive. He's actually a fucking hard guy to get down, So with that being said, you don't know what these games are going to be like. If it was just him having to throw, it's a different story. But like, he's like top 7 rusher, not quarterback, like person. So I'll take those 8.5, but I'm gonna get the over. I think the Bills are going to score on you, and you're going to have to score. So 40 is just too low for these teams to me.
Yeah, I feel like, obviously I sort of like will go between as far as the Bills' offensive effectiveness between where John stands and where Anthony stands. I think they're going to score some points, enough points, more than 20 points, but not like ring it up because they haven't really been functioning on that high of a level as an offense. But the Bears will be able to score some points too. They both have effective running offenses if the cold is that much of a factor on the passing game. I'll take the Bears. I'll take the over. Another game that's supposed to be exceptionally cold, Kansas City Chiefs, 10-point home favorites hosting the Seattle Seahawks. Pro Bowler Geno Smith coming to town. 49-point over-under.
I was going to use that line. I mean, we got to – if it's Pro Bowl Geno Smith, we got a money line it, but I'm kidding. Patrick Mahomes, you can't stop the Chiefs from scoring. I think this should hopefully – well, Lockett's out, right? So this should hopefully still be a somewhat of a slinging game, right? Some points. You would like to see the over here. I'll take the over here and give me the Chiefs covering that, laying that 10, covering that 10. They just had this thing feisty with McKinnon for the past 2 weeks. And that's just another option that they've be able to use and solidify for these past 2 weeks. And now warrant that as a weapon this week, as well with Kelsey, as well with they do some, I think they 2-touchdown him. Give it to me.
Yeah, I think Anthony's wrong on this one. I'm going to take the points with Seattle because the Chiefs' defense stinks. Bad. I mean, when Houston brings you to overtime, that's pretty embarrassing. So I'm going to lay the points with Seattle, and I'm going to go with the over because both teams can score because the Chiefs' defense stinks and Seattle's defense stinks.
Okay, so I think the Chiefs' defense has been not as bad as John, but still not great. I also I think that the Chiefs had 2 turnovers deep in their own territory in that game that allowed Houston to score as opposed to having to drive the field. The Chiefs had over 500 yards of offense. The the Houston Texans had 219 yards of offense in that game. So it's not like the Chiefs' defense was giving it up.
Out here, number.
I will take the under in this game. I will take this. I'll take the Seahawks because 10 points is a lot. And because the Chiefs, while they are scoring points, it's going to be cold. They might run a little bit more. And I don't think they're going to be forced to really run it up. And the Seahawks will keep it within 10, which is a really big number. Texans, Johnny's Texans, facing off against the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee is at home, 3-point favorites, 35.5 point over under. This is gross, but not as gross as it gets. John, your beloved Texans?
Yeah, I'm going to continue going with the points with Houston until they stop proving me that. I'm going to go with the points with Houston. For some reason, they've been covering their spreads for the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to ride the hot train, and I'm going to go with the points with Houston, but give me the under.
Money line's twitching, but I that's the one I have to like breeze through the rest before I choose this one. But I want to say, John has to agree. They've been one of the teams, and Atlanta has been another one of the other ones as well, where they're just like they're always at least covering the spread. So give me Houston to 3, and they're throwing a line out there, and I'll take it. The over 35.5. Titans can, Henry could throw up some points here and score two touchdowns on himself, 3 touchdowns on himself. So if Tennessee could score 21, this game goes over 35.5. So give me that.
I'm going to lay the 3 points with the Titans because I think Henry's going to run wild. But the Texans stink, and they're trying to not win games. And Malik Willis is starting at quarterback for the Titans, which he is bad. He's so bad. He cannot throw the ball. And so it's going to be a Derrick Henry game. Derrick Henry's going to rush for almost 200 yards and a couple touchdowns probably. But I will take the under and lay the points with the Titans. The Texans just don't do anything in this game, and it's a shit fest. Not the shittiest fest, but one of them. Lions, Panthers. Panthers are at home. They are 3-point underdogs to the surging Lions. 43.5 point over under.
Fire. Goff is going off. See what I did there? Tried something. Give me those Lions, man. Give me those Lions. Lay it down, because it's if you see that right there, it's a plus 100 right there for that -3. Give me that.
Hell yeah. Love it. I
did not see that. And it's another one of those. They just snuck in there on me. It's almost money line contingent. But anyway, give me those. And they've been on fire. And if they're throwing up at least 20 points in this game, at least Panthers got to try and do it. I'll go for the over. I'm always happy for the over.
Yeah, I'm going to take the points with Carolina. I think that Carolina's scrappy, and for some reason they're going to keep this game close. This is going to be one of these weird games, and I'm going to go with the under in this game. I have a feeling that for some reason Detroit cannot be as Detroit's going to have a more difficult time, I think, with Carolina, with what people think. And Carolina's defense is actually pretty good. So I just have one of these things where I'm just going to, like, when are the Lions offense going to kind of slow down? Like, when are they going to be that? I'm going to go with this game, and I'm going to lay the points with Carolina. Detroit does win this game, but I'm going to go with the under.
Carolina's scrappy like Scrappy Doo.
They are.
Well,
they
coach.
haven't exactly. They've been playing pretty solidly under Steve Wilkes. They are in contention to win that horrendous division, but a win is a win. I will take the Lions and lay the 3 for plus 100 with my head, and I will take the over with my heart. I can give you the case for why it will go under, and that is because the one time that I rostered Jared Goff this season was during Jalen Hurts' bye, and he had 1 fantasy point. 1 on the week. And so I have him right now as my replacement, my presumptive replacement for Jalen Hurts. We'll get to that in a minute. So I can tell you that the Lions are going to get completely shut out in this game. But I'm taking the over with my heart because that's what I really need. Saints visiting the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, 2.5-point home favorites, a 32.5-point over under, the lowest over under in 10 years.
Makes you, I mean, I can't take the under there.
And the weather sucks.
Does it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. This is supposed to be what Dave said. One of the most like historically
super cold.
cold. Yeah, super cold.
Negative temperatures. John, how you feeling? I mean, you have Amari Cooper, and then of course you have Deshaun Watson on your bench. How you feel about the Browns in this spot?
Yeah, actually, I did some waiver moves, so I'm actually going to go with money line Saints. I picked up Taysom Hill, and I have Alvin Kamara. So I'm going to do this with my head and my heart, as you said, is that I'm going to go with the money line Saints, and they're going to score some damn points against Deshaun Watson because he's been really, really rusty and hasn't been able to score any points. So I'm going to go with money line Saints with the upset, and I'm going to go with hopefully a huge game from Kamara and Taysom Hill.
If you want to go with more with your head there, you just could take those 2.5 points because it's another one that's a plus 100 right there with those 2.5 points. So that's where I'll go. I'll go give me those 2.5 points, and I'll take that plus 100. Thank you. And I think 32.5 historically low. Let's root for historically not going lower than that. You know, let's get some points here. Make this juicy for lots of people. Right? Fantasy playoffs. You don't want none of this shit. You don't want to see over-unders 32s and 35s and some of those players you have on those teams you have on your team. That's not what you want.
Yeah, we're going to get to that quite a bit as we go through our fantasy football matchups this week. But I have David Njoku as my tight end, who is pretty much unplayable in this spot because Deshaun Watson has been so bad. And it's just that offense is projected to just be really, really terrible. I will take the Saints plus 2.5 for that plus money right there. And I will take the over just because it's such a low line. And I agree with John that the Saints could potentially put up some points in this spot. Bengals visiting the Patriots. This one's interesting. The Bengals are the visitors, and they are just 3-point favorites, 41.5-point over under. Anthony, why are the Bengals just 3-point favorites in this one? Why isn't it a larger line?
Because they were confused. They're confused. They're thinking that what the Patriots did last week, maybe they're going to come back and whoop that whole team's ass, or pretty much that one dude, you know.
Ramondre.
But no, the guy who threw the ball. Well, he could have went down.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I was thinking of something else. Go ahead. It was Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers was the guy who threw that pass. It was one of the and honestly, I might have been right accidentally when I said Ramondre. Ramondre Stevenson is not getting enough heat here because he's the one who threw the first lateral. He never should have done that in the first place. He threw the first lateral, which completely reset Jacoby Myers' whole brain. His brain went like to blue screen and then back to start mode and was like, I just received the lateral. It's the end of the game. There's no time left on the clock. We're doing laterals. Here's another lateral. I'm serious. Like, that's the only explanation for what happened. And Ramondre should never have tossed it back to him in the first place. That should never have happened. And people are like, oh, Jacoby Myers. He made a ridiculously stupid move, but he never should have been put in that position to begin with. That's my 2 cents on the whole matter. Bengals, Patriots. How you feel?
Give me the Bengals laying that 3. I'll take that. I'll take them laying that 3.
Agree.
And I'll take the under here. I'm
going to go over. What about you, John?
Yeah, I'm going to take the points with New England, and I'm actually going to go with the under.
Ooh, okay.
Juicy.
Falcons, Ravens, a not juicy game. The Ravens, even though they're banged up, are still 7.5-point home favorites with a 35.5-point over under. John, are you excited about this game?
No, I'm not at all. I think it's good. You definitely have to go with the under in this game. But I'm gonna go with the points with Atlanta in this one.
Agree. Same points with Atlanta. They're always keeping it enough close and under because it's going to be underwhelming.
I'll go points with Atlanta and the over. I think that they'll somehow stumble. These teams will stumble into points. 35 is low enough. They'll stumble into some points. Commanders, 49ers, interesting matchup. 49ers are at home, 7-point favorites, 38-point over-under. Obviously, the 49ers are down to the Brock Purdy quarterback who's been playing very, very well.
Give me those Niners laying that 7. Laying down that 7. That defense is for real. And McCaffrey has always been for real. And he is for real. And if they just figure out some sort of shit other than him to keep it going, they're going to be all right. Get Ayuk back in there. That man's another monster. Work him in. Can't have that guy have 2-3 catches.
Everybody who touches the ball.
They got 2 or 3 touches. You can't have that guy to have 2 or 3 touches and expect to do some damage. But I think they do it here. And give me the over. Give me the over because the Commanders can score. Commanders got some weapons and they utilize them in different ways and schemes. And this one should go over 38.
Yeah, I'm gonna go same. San Fran points. I'm gonna go with the over.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be 7 points. Seems like a lot, but I think that the Niners defense eventually just chokes out the Commanders over the course of the game. The Commanders will put up some points, and the Niners will put up enough to get it to the over. Eagles, Cowboys. This one makes me sick. The line has been flying in the direction of the Cowboys who are at home. The Eagles started out, I believe, favored by a little bit, and now they're 5-point underdogs as visitors with a 47.5-point over-under. All of these line movements obviously due to the projected absence of prohibitive NFL MVP favorite Jalen Hurts.
Well, I'm actually gonna go, even though that Jalen Hurts might not play this game, which obviously hurts you. I'm gonna go with the money line, Philadelphia, with a Gardner Minshew.
Yo, that stash is going to
All
do
right.
the work.
The stash is going to be throwing it to A.J. Brown. All right. The stash is going to throw it. All right. So, DC in the city, sweep the leg. You are going to get the mustache, man, coming down. And I have Dallas with the upset because Dallas, for some reason lately, has not been playing good football. And I think that Philly is just on another tier, even without Jalen Hurts. They figure out a way to pull this game out. Give me money line, Philly.
Yeah, that's on my list of the money lines. Give me, Jalen Hurts from the absolute reason why they are what they are, but that team is so good all around. The Cowboys defense for sure is good. The offense comes in shaky, hot and cold a little bit, but still a very good team. But just the Eagles is just so well equipped that you got to throw Gardner Minshew in there. You have to throw to Devontae Smith and you have to throw to AJ Brown. Like they can do their job. All you got to do is do your job. You just won't have you won't have the leg. Like you have the running game. They have the multiple. As long as you just do your job, the scheme is there. It's like a scheme situation. If you do your job, the rest of the team will do the work for it. They'll step up. The only thing you won't have is that running possibility and that he has those plays he gets. But this team is just too good. So give me that money line. Give me the over.
Eagles +5 under. I'm too emotional.
Negative Nancy. That's why.
Can't talk about it. Well, Eagles +5 is not that negative. I think that at the very least they'll keep it close. And I think it'll be under because I think the defense will perform well. I think Hurts being out gives the Cowboys defense a lot of an advantage to actually play well. And it'll stay under 47.5. And everything is horrible. Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Las Vegas Raiders Sunday Night Football. This game is just disgusting. I don't know why they didn't change this. I'm sorry, Saturday Night Football. I don't know why they didn't change this to a different game. They could have given you Commanders, 49ers at night. They could have given you Eagles,
Eagles
Cowboys at
Dallas
night.
would have been the game.
Yeah, it's preposterous that this is the Saturday night game. I guess because they figured nobody's going to be watching TV at this point. It's going to be like such a long day.
You should have snuck that one in the 1 o'clock, so like nobody would care.
Well, it's it doesn't make any sense, but at least you don't have to. I at that point, I will have lost my fantasy game, and I'll be so sick of football by that point that I won't want to watch any more football. So this would be the perfect game for me to not watch out of complete depression. Steelers are home favorites, 2 points, 38-point over under, shitfest. Johnny?
Yeah, it is. I agree. It's going to be a shitfest game, and actually, Pittsburgh has been playing a lot better of recently. I think Kenny Pickett is supposed to be coming back this game, so but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Anthony Jelly's feelings, and I'm gonna go with the money line Raiders. Why not, Jelly Man?
Because that's exactly what I'm doing, fam.
Nice.
But Dave, you still have to remember, you might not want to watch this game, but this game will have you having to watch this game.
Why?
Because as much as it is to be, shit going on with your team, your squad's still up there, and Josh Jacobs plays.
Well, I don't have Josh Jacobs. My opponent has Josh Jacobs, and I will already have had enough guys perform badly or not at all, considering Jalen Hurts won't play, and I'll just have to start Jared Goff, who's going to go from 20 points a game to 1 point by Saturday night, because his whole team plays Saturday. So his last player is Josh Jacobs. So
yeah, but you got
at that point,
players.
I have, I believe, Sunday and Monday players. We've gotten way off track here. The point is, I'm getting very sad on Saturday. And I think the Raiders-Steelers game is a perfect game for me to not watch. I think the Raiders +2 would be my move here if I cared about this game, which I don't. I'm not mad. And give me the under as well. Sunday, Christmas Day, we have a 3-game slate, a nice little 3-game slate. Packers, Dolphins. Dolphins are at home, 3.5-point favorites with a 49.5-point over under. This game could be a lot of fun. John, what do you think about them Dolphins?
Yeah, I think that I'm going to go with the over on this game. I think there's going to be some points scored, but Miami just pulls away. They do enough stops to stop Aaron Rodgers and that horrific offense that they have, and Miami's just going to do what they want. Miami, I'm going to give me the points and give me the over.
I like the over here, and I'm stuck because I feel that way. I do feel that way. And the Packers have been horrendous, but Miami's defense isn't very good.
They're not.
And their corners are really bad. And, not that these guys are great, but, Christian Watson, he's had some games, and Dobbs is back, and maybe these guys maybe get to use Aaron Jones for some reason where they are like, where he gets the game going. So I'm gonna take those Packers getting 3.5, and I'll go with you. I
hate watching the Packers on TV. It's been very, very painful to watch all season long. It's just so hard to watch. The Dolphins are going to win this game by more than 3.5 points. It might not be a landslide, but it's going to be more than 3.5. And I will take the over because both of these teams can score on the opposing defenses. Ugh. The Packers. I hate watching the fucking Packers, man. Oh my god. Prime standalone game. Standalone game. This is all you get. You have to watch them. Denver Broncos 4:30 visiting the LA Rams. Now this game is disgusting. I mean, there's another one I won't have to watch because I'll just be grossed out by everything. I'll have sat through this entire Packers game and I'll be so sick to my stomach that thankfully I'll get a break during this disgusting mess. Denver Broncos 2.5-point road favorites, 36.5-point over under. Give me the Denver Broncos laying the points. Give me the under. What do you guys got?
Same.
Buccaneers, Cardinals, Sunday night, Christmas night. Cardinals are at home on their third string quarterback. That's a real bummer for the Cardinals. You know who else is a bummer for? Cardinals receivers. We'll get to that in a minute. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been struggling. They're just a bad team. but somehow are 7.5-point road favorites. I guess the answer is Trace McSorley, the third-string quarterback. 39.5-point over/under. There it is. Tampa Bay, Johnny.
Yeah, I'm giving me the points with Arizona. I just have a feeling about that they're going to cover this spread for some reason. But the Buccaneers should win this game. If they don't win this game, I don't know what to think of the Buccaneers anymore, because I just don't. But for some reason, their defense is just really, really bad. So Arizona somehow is going to score some points because just the Buccaneers have just been this bad. And give me the under.
Give me the Buccaneers laying at 7.5. Give me the over here. The Bucs need to keep pumping because Brady wants to go to the playoffs, guys. He's a playoff guy, and they got to play. They got to play, and they're gonna play.
Yeah, I'll take the Buccaneers and lay the 7.5 as well. I will take the under, however, because I just don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to do anything. Trace McSorley is actually bad. Chargers visiting the Colts on Monday night. The Colts are 5-point home underdogs with a 46-point over/under.
They're gonna charge all over these fucking guys, laying down that 5. Give me the over.
John?
Same.
All right, I'll lay the 5 but take the under. How's that sound?
Sounds negative.
That is the slate. John, what's your 3-pick parlay?
My 3-pick parlay is going to be to give me the points with Seattle, give me the points with Houston, and give me the points with Atlanta.
Plus 611, $1 will net you 711. My 3-pick parlay is the Detroit Lions -3 for plus 100, the Jacksonville Jaguars to win on the money line plus 100, and the New Orleans Saints plus 2.5 plus 100 for plus 700 to win $8.
Money line madness is Jacksonville, Philly, and the Raiders for a plus 1104.
Oh, nice. That's good. Well, hopefully this is the week. We have a Christmas miracle and one of us goes through. The 3-man DFS contest was a bloodbath this week. I had a very, very bad week. I only scored 96.32 points, coming in third place. I had no good players. John came in second place with 113.24. He had Dak Prescott, who had a nice day. And, Chris Godwin had a nice day as well. DJ Moore, believe it or not, he played DJ Moore, which is wild. And he had a fine day. Anthony, however, beat the hell out of us with a 144.62. So like 30 points higher than second place. Derrick Henry had a huge day. Dawson Knox, Jerick McKinnon, Broncos defense. Nice performance out of Anthony, 144. Another first place finish. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, let's take a look at the first round of the Always Sunday Fantasy Football League playoffs. Shall we?
Playoffs?
John, did you enjoy your first round bye?
Yeah, I did. It was nice. It was nice to be on vacation.
Anthony, how was you had a bye week this week too, right?
It
was like more like a goodbye week.
Like you're on a long vacation. I just had a week vacation and I'm back.
Yeah, it does come with the territory, but losing is losing just like winning is winning. I did have a record-breaking year, and breaking means team and bones.
The injury bug was just too much for you this year.
Problem.
Yeah, unfortunate. Well, our first round matchup featured some pretty interesting competition. Let's take a look at the 4-5 game really quickly. It was won by the Gotham Rogues, who will advance to the semifinals to face the number 1 seed, Pretty Boy Jonny. The Gotham Rogues won their game 144.72 to 124.14 over the Drunken Bums. The game was pretty cool. It was a good contest. It was hotly contested for much of the day or much of the weekend, I suppose, until the Rogues finally just sort of like beat the Drunken Bums into submission. My stud player of the week was Trevor Lawrence, who had 4 passing touchdowns, 318 yards passing for 31.8 points in this game to lead the Rogues to victory and on to the next round. I mean, he was a Lamar guy all season long. Lamar obviously dealing with some major injuries. He worked his way on to Trevor Lawrence, and he is reaping the benefits. Lawrence is kind of coming into his own. He is exploding, pushing the ball down the field constantly, and absolutely never, ever throwing the ball to Travis Etienne, ever. It's pretty incredible. He'll go out of his way. He'll throw the ball into the first row rather than throw it to Etienne. It's amazing. Stephon Diggs, my dud of the week on the other side. Diggs was a huge contributor to the Bums season, and they're eventually getting into the playoffs. One of the best players on his team only could put together 10.7 points on a 5 for 60 day in a big game against Miami. They scored 32 points as a team, did the Bills, but Diggs really was not a factor in the NFL game nor in the Rogues Bums game, except to be disappointing and let the Bums down when he needed him the most. So my stud was Trevor Lawrence. My dud was Stephon Diggs, both in this matchup, and the Rogues are moving on. Does anybody have a stud or a dud from this game besides me?
I have a dud.
Go ahead.
It's not as bad as a dud because it was on the winners team, but it was Davante Adams.
Okay. Yes.
Big dud. Luckily for the Rogues, Trevor Lawrence came in and mustered up, and Murray had a day. That was luckily for him. But yeah, Davante Adams scoring under 7. Not what you want, not what he does normally. So going into his next week, you don't want that. You don't want a second dud from that guy.
That was his worst game of the year.
If Davante Adams scores 10 or less, he's in trouble.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for him to survive a bad score out of Adams 2 weeks in a row, because Adams has been just an absolute monster and an anchor for the Rogues. Good call on that one. The other matchup, 3-6 matchup, was sweep the leg versus 11 amateurs and 1 pro. This game was won in a pretty convincing fashion by sweep the leg, 181.3 to 149.94. 11 amateurs had a really good game, really solid point output. He actually scored more as a loser than anybody else. Either of the other 2 teams did. Exactly. So he bullied his way into the playoffs at the end of the season, got his shit straightened out, and then scored more points in his matchup than the fourth seed or the 5th seed. Got it together at the end, but it wasn't enough. Sweep the leg just kind of blew up, exploded onto the scene. 180 points.
Is we said this from week 2 or 3. The players that made him a factor were the same players every week. He has the number 1 wide receiver and the number 1 quarterback.
Justin Jefferson, 30 points. Mahomes, 35 points. He had an amazing day from a waiver wire find that he had, which was Jawan Johnson, who had a couple of huge games for him. So that was actually a good work out of him. But there was a couple of players who disappointed. We could talk about them. But does anybody have a stud or a dud they want to talk about?
So I'm gonna go with my stud is MVP Jalen Hurts from Sweep the Leg. All year long has been just an anchor for the Sweep the Leg, and for that, he is my stud for this week.
Somebody say something.
So I'll say something positive and really nice. So like studs for me, the options were all on Sweep the Leg, right? You could choose a stud from Hurts, as you just did, to McCaffrey, who's just a stud. But I chose A.J. Brown. He came in there, 9 catches for 181 yards. You stud. No touchdown. Don't touchdown, still throwing up 30 points. And only just giving that
He
man.
almost had that one too. That
Yeah,
68
that was
yarder
the
could have
one.
been a
Like,
70 plus. Oof.
right. So that might right there being said, if you had that,
Vintage Julio Jones out there.
oh, but if he has a 70-yard touchdown, he goes from a 30 to a 50 plus.
Well, no, not 50, probably 40. But yeah, John is absolutely correct. Vintage Julio Jones, 9 for 181 and no touchdowns. That is perfect Julio Jones stat line for sure. But yeah, good call out of you, Anthony. AJ Brown had another berserk day. He's been an anchor for Sweep the Leg, as has Jalen Hurts. This is just disaster. John, did you do your dud yet?
No, I have not, but I'm gonna
Who's your-
switch. My thud was on the other line matchup, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna do my thud is going to be David Njoku
Oh,
putting up a 5.8 because Deshaun Watson absolutely just cannot throw the football. The Browns are missing them some Jacoby Brissett, and I thought we would never be saying that at this time of the year.
John, but who was your dud from the other game? I have to know now. This is going to irk me.
It was Pat Fairmont.
Fryermuth.
Firemuth.
That fucking fear mouth.
Fire. He put up a 0 when he could have replaced it with KJ Osborne and won his matchup. So for that is my thud because literally he could have subbed out a guy on his bench to win his matchup, and he could
Did I
be.
not say statistically this? I think this was last week. I said statistically, if you play 2 tight ends,
You will lose.
You will lose. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's a good call. That's both of those are very good calls, and they're both tight ends who definitely struggled. We covered just about everything from this week, as we mentioned. The Gotham Rogues and Sweep the Leg will be moving on, and in the semifinals, the number 1 overall seed, Pretty Boy Jonny, will be facing off against the Gotham Rogues, the 4th seed. In the regular season, PBJ was 11-3, and the Gotham Rogues 9-5. However, the Gotham Rogues had about 150 more points scored during the regular season. Taking a look at the PBJ Gotham Rogues matchup, obviously you have a huge quarterback battle between Justin Fields, who has been a complete anchor and MVP of John's team for the season, one of the best fantasy quarterbacks, and one of the best waiver wire pickups of John's entire life. Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Marquise Goodwin as a fill-in versus Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, Garrett Wilson. I think we give the edge to the wide receivers for the Gotham Rogues right here. Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, J.K. Dobbins, and David Montgomery is a very, very good collection of running backs to run out there. And so is Nick Chubb, James Conner, Isaiah Pacheco, and Latavius Murray, believe it or not. So this one should be interesting to watch. And then, of course, we have the illustrious return of Dallas Goedert with the mustache at quarterback. And then John's rolling the dice, looking for a big game out of Taysom Hill. He's really – this is a move that –
you're going to bite you in the ass later.
No. It may or may not. This signals something very important. But the defenses – Los Angeles Chargers going against Indianapolis, as John mentioned. Then we have Baltimore Ravens defense going against Atlanta. Right now, as the projections stand, Gotham Rogues are favored in this game via, per the computer. The thing that it signals before we get to any key players in this game that you guys have is that John knows he needs something extra, something special, something crazy. He needs to hit on somebody who's going to have like a freak blow up week because he knows he's overmatched in this game. Taysom Hill picking Taysom Hill up off the waiver wire after waivers have run and starting him in his lineup in the semifinals coming off of a bye signals to the world that John knows that he needs some magic this week in order to win this contest. John? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I have until Saturday to make my final moves, but I have a very, very, very good feeling about Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill this week. I think that Narkowitz is going to have his typical 130 points. I think I could put up 130 points, but my matchups every single week for the past, forever. 8 wins have been going down to 3 points, 2 points. So it's going to be a close matchup. How can I separate from the pack? And Gerald Everett has not been playing. Yeah, he's just not getting the points ever since Keenan Allen's been back, which is great for me, but bad for Gerald Everett. I think that having him on my lineup is just a big risk. And why not throw out there Taysom Hill when he can be running the football with Alvin Kamara, because it's going to be freezing temperatures, probably running the football a lot. So give me both those guys. I think that they're going to be a difference maker, and I need a huge day from Justin Fields and Saquon Barkley, because I'm not a trusting Amari Cooper in this one. I have to roll him out, but I'm not trusting Amari Cooper.
I will just jump in really quickly before I go to Anthony on this game. My key player for the weekend is Justin Fields. Justin Fields got John to the playoffs, got John the number 1 seed, got John the first round bye. Justin Fields has been the key to John's entire season. If Justin Fields does not have a big game, John is in a humongous hole. And so Justin Fields is my key player for the weekend, because the number 1 seed, everything he has rides on that one player. And that's a pretty big deal in my opinion.
100%. We said this. He had 4 weeks in a row of 40-plus points, and if you take half of that away, he loses those games. But a lot of times when it happens, John needs the right player to score. He's also been lucky, but he's also just made it two games this year under like a point win. So I feel
jellies.
I feel jellies, bro. I feel it in the jellies. I feel that John is going to win this game. I think Fields has a really good day. I think he scores over 30 points. I think Trevor Lawrence has a decent day, but I call him as a mid-20s point. Davante Adams is going to have a very good day. Amari Cooper, not so much. Keenan Allen, I think, is going to – that's where it is those receivers, right? Because you got Goodwin, he's got Metcalf. Metcalf's going to get all the love. You're lucky that Mike White's not playing, because I think Wilson's value goes down a little bit. But I think Barkley's going to have a big day. Like the players you need to have a big day are going to. Your swing shot is Hill, because Montgomery's going to get the runs. Dobbins is going to run all over Atlanta, and Barkley's going to be able to score on Minnesota. So Dave's 100% right. Like if Fields scores over 30, and Barkley, Dobbins, and Montgomery have those days, Keenan Allen gets his 10 targets, John wins this game.
The Gotham Rogues should win this game.
Next slide. I'll start chatting about it here, because this is a juicy matchup that I wish was the championship. Golden Showers and Sweep the Leg. This game is huge on how Cincinnati plays, because as much as Dave has some downside, Sweep the Leg has some downside with the injury to Jalen Hurts. That also affects the Golden Showers, Devontae Smith, as much as it does Sweep the Leg's A.J. Brown. So if that Joe Burrow Chase stack has a mediocre to day, that changes the game. If Ayuk has a similar game to last week, changes the game. If he has Swift in there right now, if it's a Jamal Williams day. So if Goff starts, you have AJ Brown, but he's like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, phenomenal wide receivers. They should still be able to do their job. Chris Godwin's been a target monster on that offense. Last week they decided, they're like, oh hey, Mike Evans, we forgot you're here, so they involved him back in it. Hurts for Hopkins having a third string, but yet again, Hopkins is still just an absolute freak of nature. Komet's in there. The tight end situation is going to be tricky for Sweep the Leg, where for the Golden Showers, he has Evan Ingram, who's been average, a pretty decent tight end for all the year as far as total points. So the huge thing is for key player is for me is McCaffrey. So if McCaffrey can continue to do what he's been doing, that will help to Sweep the Leg tremendously. If McCaffrey can score his 28 to 33 mark, that's a McCaffrey mark. That will really keep this game juicy.
So my key player is going to be Jamar Chase of the Golden Showers. I have I have a feeling that it's going to go down to a Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase kind of evening if the Golden Shower wants to win. If Jamar Chase does not have a big day, obviously Joe Burrow will have probably, depending if he's throwing to T. Higgins or how things go. I think that actually the sweep the leg actually has a fighting chance if Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase do not score points. So I'm going to go with Jamar Chase as my key player for this matchup.
So the key player in this matchup is obviously Jalen Hurts. Just based on the fact that he's like I said, he was the leading Vegas favorite to win the NFL MVP before his injury. He is a gigantic difference maker. He was a big part of Sweep the Legs team all season long. Not only does losing him lose me a complete week winner, but it also diminishes AJ Brown's value, somewhat enough where it's a factor. It also diminishes Devonta Smith. It's that one hurts. It hurts me double. Hurts him a little. It hurts me a lot. Godwin is, you're hoping for the best, but that offense stinks. Hopkins is another one where he's fine, but they're on the third string quarterback who is actually very, 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 very bad. And so,
as he should be.
Well, this dude shouldn't even be in the NFL. Like he's a joke of a quarterback. So it's going to be really, really rough for Hopkins. So like, and then of course with Njoku's not playable because of the quarterback situation. Fortunately for Treylon Burks, he's supposed to be back and healthy. But unfortunately for me, Malik Willis is starting, and so you can't start any pass catchers on the Tennessee Titans. So I can't play him anymore. I was able to pick up Deion Jackson after waivers ran. Nobody bid on him, which I'm pretty surprised about because I think he's got potential to make some noise in that backfield. But Danny Mac's team is at complete full strength. He's got everybody he needs, and right down the line, multiple players on my team are banged up or have major injury problems that are prohibiting them. Even Cortland Sutton with his injury, it's the worst time of the season, and to have like my main player go down and be unavailable, it's a huge disappointment. My team still has enough firepower to win any game on any week, but being this disadvantaged is just a gigantic disappointment. It couldn't have been a more joyless experience for me in the most joyless season I've had in this league so far. I just it couldn't have been any more disappointing, and for it to be the semifinals and not the finals, as Anthony mentioned, none of this could be any more disappointing for me, and it just sucks. Before we wrap it up, who you got in the finals? Anthony, who you got in the finals?
I have PBJ versus Sweep the Leg.
Jonny, who you got?
I'm going to second that.
I got Rogues Showers. So we will see what happens in the semifinal week. But that is for the next podcast, and I will see you guys there where it's always sunny.
Peace.